It's Friday, December 22nd. I'm Geoff Schwartz. It's Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You, and we're on Twitter, YouTube, and we're on your podcast platform of choice. Please give us a rating and review. We love to hear back from you guys. You can also tweet me at Geoff Schwartz, also at MMFord10. And on Friday, we're brought to you by the Vaulted app. It's the home of my season-long game, giving out $14,000 of cash prizes in my pools, with $5,000 allocated to the big game at the end of the season. That's Vaulted, VLTED. Plus, you can store your sports predictions, participation cash prize pools without any entry fees, and prove you're smarter than your friends and myself with the Vaulted Challenge features. You guys know by now, we have a Vaulted pool each and every week. Go to the app, look up Geoff, that's Geoff with a G, Geoff, find my pool. We're giving away cash prizes each week. It's free to enter. $500 given away each week, Matt. It's 20 questions. You answer, agree or disagree, with a score of 1 to 10 for your confidence. We'll also put in our 5 predictions at the end of this show into the Vaulted app. Go check that out. At the end of the show, we'll go over the Vaulted questions that we like for the pool this week. As you guys know, on Friday, we do our wagering preview for the National Football League. There are games this week on Saturday. There are games on Sunday. There are games on Monday. We were 1, 2, and 2 last week. The two were upsetting because we both had the underdog as they were up 17-3 in the fourth quarter, and both pushed at +3, did the Bears and did the Vikings. So we're still at 55%, 41, 28, and 6. Actually, no, we're better than that. I did my math wrong on that one. We're at 59%, which is what you, I think, texted me earlier. So we're still kicking. We're still doing well. And this week, warning, guys, the quarterbacks we're going to wager on are guys that are not on your fantasy team. Hopefully not.
Correct.
They're not guys that you watched in college. They're not. It's ugly, Matt, but this is the way we do it, buddy.
If this were easy, everyone would be 59% in week 16, Geoff. But that's not the case. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. Good to see you, man. It's good to we'll maybe hear from your special guests later in the show. But yeah, let's get into this ugly week 16, starting right away with an AFC North battle. Jake Browning, suddenly a road favorite in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are getting 3 points at home. This is 4:30 tomorrow Eastern. And you're giving me that face as if this is a hard decision. This is not a hard decision.
Okay.
We don't have to even discuss it. The play here, as always, is the best coach of all time as a home underdog, Mike Tomlin, against Jake Browning as a road favorite without Jamar Chase or DJ Reader in a rematch of a game that Pittsburgh already won in Cincinnati. We're done.
Okay. Oh my God. This is just
why?
Because the Steelers stink. They're terrible, Matt. And we just, oh my God. I mean, this is the right play. We've done this for years. It always works. Steelers back against the wall. There's no way they're going to win. Geoff Schwartz is on here telling you that they stink, and then they pull out some 17-16 win with a Chris Boswell field goal late, and you're like, yep, +3 was the call. It's up to 3 now, too. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was. Oh, boy, yeah. Okay. All right. I do wish sometimes that we were able to talk about these games in a little more football way. There's no football way of this game. You just take Mike Tomlin's underdog at home. Like, you just have to do it. There's no football reason. It's that they are always good at home, back against the wall. And the Jake Browning thing, yeah, I mean, it has to end at some point, right? We've seen throughout the season backup quarterbacks start fast and then sort of take a dip. The dip is coming now. It's coming this week against Pittsburgh. Miss Trubisky. Mason Rudolph. It's Mason Rudolph this week for the Steelers. Rudolph this week for the Steelers.
Possibly the best quarterback on that roster, Geoff. It's not impossible. And
Pittsburgh +3 in Sharpie, right? This is in Sharpie. Not even maybe.
We can see if we can beat it, but there's some pretty ugly games this week. I just want to say that the Steelers have lost 3 in a row to 3 bad teams. The Bengals have won 3 in a row against 3 playoff teams. Like, what do we expect to change out of that? Like, this is just like the most obvious spot And if we're wrong, fine. We took a bet that wins like 65% of the time historically, which is an even better clip than us. So this is another, by the way, we don't always go this way. And this season, it's actually been kind of good to be on the public side. But it's 41% of the tickets, 72% of the money on Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah.
So a majority of the bets are coming in on Cincy as a road favorite. They're going to get caught this week. Steelers +3. Okay. Next game. Oh God, this game. Buffalo at the Chargers. This is a mirror test. The Chargers are getting 12.5 points here in LA.
You have to bet on the Chargers. Okay, so a couple of things. There's some number that I saw Stuckey tweet out that was like, if teams lose by 30, the next week they cover at some outrageous percentage. Let me explain why that is. It's a pride thing, right? Like, we're professional athletes. And when you get blown out, and we'll get to Dallas's game later against Miami, because I'll sort of have some of the same logic there, Matt, is, there's a prideful factor. Even if you're the backup, they lost 63-21. That's Ohio State, Maryland. Okay. That's Oregon, Cal. That's Oregon, Cal. I mean, that's Alabama,
nice.
Mississippi State. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a college score. That's not a professional score. To the Raiders. You didn't lose that to the Niners or the Chiefs or the Bills, to the Raiders. And so there is I don't believe in this. We talked about this dead coach bounce, which actually happened a lot this year. The next week, the team with the interim coach wins. But there's a pridefulness factor to this team when you get your butts kicked like they did last week. And yeah, Easton Stick is playing, like, so be it. But the best part is no more Brandon Staley. No more Brandon Staley, Matt. And I don't even care who the other coaches are. Staley's not there anymore. So we got to do it. Chargers +12.5.
Yeah, we do. It's not great, Geoff. I'll just say that. I mean, here's the things that are potentially helpful. Chargers are coming off they have extra rest, which is nice. The Bills have been on this sort of heater of a schedule run. So now they potentially could have a little bit of a letdown spot. Teams as double-digit underdogs after 35-plus point losses over the last 20 years are 19-4-1. Home dogs 60.8% since 2020 of over 7. This is a situational spot. This is not a Easton Stick podcast. I'm pretty confident in saying, but this is just purely hey, it's a team with a new coach. They clearly quit on their last one, like you said. Here's a chance to just sort of get, I don't know, 6 extra points. Like, if last week didn't happen, is this like, I don't know. If last week, seriously, is this like a 4-point swing because of last week? Like,
if Easton Stick is playing and they don't get blown out, it's probably at 9.5.
Yeah, so a 3-4 point line swing based on a really bad Thursday game where the coach got fired after. So it's a smart play. It's not pretty. We're not going to enjoy it. Saturday is going to be rough. But the question is, will our Saturday be even rougher? And that would be if we took Minnesota getting 3 points at home against the Lions. Another sort of attractive home dog to me, Geoff. I'm curious what you think here.
Well, this game is Sunday now.
This is Sunday now. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's only 2 Saturday games and a bunch of bowl games on Saturday, by the way. God, you got to take Minnesota, right? I mean, you look at where their defense has played this season. They easily should have beat the Bengals. I mean, that was an atrocious way to end that football game. The Lions are not as good on the road this season, but that happens to be on the outside. They're not outside this game, right? The Baltimore game, the Bears game. Now this game is inside again. But it's a division opponent. Getting 3 points, 3.5 would have been better, like it was earlier in the week. But I just feel like this is a spot where you take the Vikings, right? Their offensive line is really good. So the Lions pass rush and defensive line will not be able to work as well, which allows the Vikings to get some yards. They have weapons. We know that the Vikings do. My concern though is that the Vikings pressure a ton. Can they hold up in the back end against the Lions' array of weapons, Matt? This, out of all the ones we're going to take with these ugly sides, this one worries me the most.
Yeah, that's fair. The thing that could potentially help us here is I can't find the exact stat in front of me, but uh, the Vikings blitz most in the league by far. I think to make
Yeah,
up for their personnel deficiencies, especially in that secondary. Jared Goff is one of the two worst. I think he's the 31st quarterback in
he's
blitz this
terrible.
year.
Yep.
So that's not a great matchup for them. The Vikings, you mentioned we were on them last week. Nick Mullins, like not not great, not a great quarterback to back. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just I think that it's a bad matchup of offense and defense. The Lions have been really sputtering lately, and it just feels like a decent spot. I don't know, like the beating Denver last week at home was nice, but this Vikings team, man, they haven't gone. I think they may have found something with Ty Chandler maybe last week. They just sort of know
Yeah,
how to like play these tight games. Like it's always like you look at their last
always
four:
close. Yeah.
3 point loss, 3 point win, 2 point loss, 1 point win, or I'm sorry, one
Yeah.
point loss. Like it's just tight. So, um, yeah, I like this one. I do feel like these teams play again in 2 weeks, which is kind of odd. But yeah, I'm fine with this one as if you are.
So Mason Rudolph, Easton Stick, and Nick Mullins. Awesome. Good start. Good start, everybody.
Good start.
Welcome to my podcast. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. All right. To be fair, a lot of these games freaking stink. So it is what it is.
Yeah, we're gonna breeze through a few right here.
And the good ones, by the way, you just don't wager on them. Like there's no, my opinion, no edge of some of these games. Okay, so continue on the. Let's go to another bad. Let's get to a bad game.
Yeah, let's just spend 0 seconds on Commanders Jets, right? Jets laying 3 at home.
The only question I have is why. I don't understand why the Jets are favored by 3. That's my only. I mean, I'm not taking Washington, absolutely not. But why are they favored at all by 3?
I think because it's possible that Ron Rivera might be tanking, like actually. Like, I don't know. I think we shared this in our group thread. I don't know who shared it. Did you watch the breakdown of the PFT commenter did of
I
Washington's
sent it.
last
Yes,
like 4 minutes?
I sent it to you
yeah.
guys. It's unbelievable.
So walk us through that.
Okay, so basically they had the ball on like the 3-yard line with 4 minutes left, down 2 touchdowns, and
Yeah.
scored with a minute like 30 left,
Right.
and had
And
multiple
they didn't
timeouts.
reserve any timeouts. It was absolutely atrocious. And so Geoff and I last week, for those of you that were following along, we bet on the Rams laying 6.5. And we weren't even really texting during that window because that game felt like it was so
done.
over.
Yeah, that was over.
So they put in Brissett, and Brissett immediately, I think for like 6 straight plays, he just threw to McLaurin, and all of them were like 30-yard first downs. And it was like, guys, like this is not that fucking hard. Like give the ball to the best player. And then they get down there, and it's like, wait a second, they might score, and then they could be down. Like the play now is you go for 2, right? Like you go for the 2, and can you win? What are your options?
Right.
And I'm like, so they score, and I'm like, Geoff, Washington might go for 2. And by the time you even answered, Ron Rivera looked at his assistant coach and said, what do I do here? Went for 1. The kick got blocked, and the onside kick went out of bounds. And I was just like, this team is so terrible. Like, the Jets are at least trying to win. Washington has no, like, they're not even a professional outfit. And also Brissett is not starting. Sam Howell is still going to start, I assume, which is the smart football thing. We have to see what this guy is, and you need as much data as you can. So Washington should have traded Brissett, gotten a pick. He could have been the Jets starter, and the Jets might have actually been in the playoff conversation if Aaron Rodgers hadn't held them hostage all year. But enough Washington Jets. Please do not bet on this game. I beg you. This one, if you bet it, God bless you. It's the Panthers in Geoff's hometown of Charlotte hosting the Packers, who everyone still can't figure out after their Kansas City win and then some just like strange games the last couple weeks. I don't know if we can ride the Panthers roller coaster again, but they are probably the side here.
Yeah, they're absolutely the side here, but I'm not touching. Look, that game against the Falcons, Desmond Ritter doesn't throw the interception, and the Falcons at least get a field goal there, and they're up 5. And the Panthers probably don't come down and score a touchdown, right? Like it just they threw the interception. The Panthers went 92 yards, kicked the field goal, won the game. I think I'd stay away from this one. I mean, the Panthers are still the 31st in DVOA. They're not a good football team. There's other better wagers
Correct.
here. I mean, look, I'd just rather bet other things, other teams.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God we're not betting the Panthers. Both the Panthers and the Packers are on our no wager list, so that should have been an easy one. Cleveland and the resurgent Joe Flacco, once again, is a road favorite in Houston. No CJ Stroud, right? I don't know the latest today, but
no Stroud. I don't think
looking doubtful.
This would not be
I'm not sure. I'll look at the latest.
They would not be favored by. They would not be getting 3 points if Stroud was playing.
Yeah. So it's likely Case Keenum. Yeah. Big impact on the Rookie of the Year race, weirdly. This could be, if Puka Nacua has a good week, it might be a good time to bet on him. But anyways.
Ooh, we have $100 left over, don't we still? But it might not be up right now, though. The odds might not be up right now.
Well, I think I have a good use of that money later. Let's hold that one.
I don't feel great about the Texans here in this spot. Do you? I don't. No. I don't. Right.
I mean, I don't feel bad, but I don't feel good. I mean, this Joe Flacco thing is a little bit ridiculous. I think. They covered last week in that sort of in that crazy game against the Bears, but like they did not. Their defense held up better than I think we expected. But like their offense, like, is this sustainable? Like, I just don't know.
Well,
they seem to have really figured something out at the end of that game last week.
But they sort of won their bad game, which is important. I mean, is Flacco going to play worse this week? It's certainly possible, right? I mean, he certainly can play worse, but they sort of won their bad game. And Houston's defense is 19th in DVOA. I mean, it's average, right? I mean, a little below average, obviously. But the Stroud thing, like Case Keenum against this defense is not a wager I got to make. Like, if they're down 8, 9, 10, and 2 minutes left to go get us a cover, is Case Keenum doing this? I think the answer is no.
Yeah. What a job by Stefanski this year. I mean, the fact that we're talking about the Browns as a road favorite with Joe Flacco against another playoff team, probably backup quarterback or not, it's just amazing. All right, so I think that's probably a pass. If we need a fifth, we could come back to it. Colts Falcons, no chance. The Falcons are laying 2.5. I'll just cut you off. No way. Nick can't do it. Love my guy Taylor Heineke. Can't do it. You've got the craziest look in your eye, though.
I mean, at +1, it was great, but I mean, I don't know. I liked Atlanta. I said on Monday from our Fox Sports article, I took Atlanta +1. I mean, -2.5 is a different story than +1. +1, I think is. I know it's not through a key number, but the way the Falcons play football games, I'll take that 1 point over 2.5. I mean, they won. They play games that end 9-7. You know what I mean? They play games that end 23-21, 24-23. Like, I think Atlanta's a side here, but we're just they're on the no wager list every year, Matt, and they continue to be on that list for a reason. I do think they win and cover this game, but I don't think I'm touching this one. Not this number. Earlier in the week, yeah, I would have taken +1. I get it's not through key numbers, but I think this spot you just stay away from it, man. You just stay away from it.
Yeah, Atlanta's the side, but I can't do it. I mean, the fact that Taylor Heineke is 3.5 points better than Ritter is insane. Truly. Okay, let's pass on that one. No more ink needs to be spilled on Gardner Minshew's Colts. Okay, Seattle going to Tennessee. The Titans, I see a 3.5, are getting 3.5 at home. This is one we at least have to discuss. Tomlin is a home dog. The second all time as a home dog, I think, is Vrabel. Insane historic stats. He wins these games outright. Looks like Tannehill's the quarterback this week, right? So that I don't think that's necessarily a downgrade from Levis, if that's how that shakes out. I don't know. Should we put Tennessee in the mix here?
The answer is yes. But the problem that I think we have is Tennessee's, I believe, eliminated from the playoffs, right? So they're not, I'm going to make sure right now I have that correct. They are, in fact, eliminated. So how hard are they going to play in this game? Like, if they were fighting for a playoff spot, +3 is great. I think it's still the right side. Excuse me, +3.5, because I think it's still the right side. Seattle off a big win on Monday night. It was Monday Night Football, right? Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
On the road to Tennessee, a team that, dude, every game they battle and claw and fight. Like, that's just who they are. And this is a spot where you just fade a team off a big win who played on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Seattle's 2-5 on the road and 5-2 at home. Titans 1-6 away, 4-3 at home. Just a situational, like you said, short week off of a huge win. It's the spot, but it's like, does the team get up for it? It's a little risky. I believe that Vrabel will have them up for it no matter what, because it's Vrabel. And also, if Tannehill is playing, like, they'll be up for it, right? Like, if they're playing Malik Willis and they're in, like, let's just try everything out. Like, if Tannehill's playing, like, they have to approach the game professionally. So the hook is nice. I'm surprised
very
they
nice.
get that. 85% of the money on the Titans and 68% of the bets.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Again, we're sort of just taking these this week because we know they've hit in the past. You know, it's a traditionally really good spots.
It's just a trend. Yeah,
but also too, like, I'm not. Here's the thing too, though. I don't feel good about any of the favorites either. Like, it's not like I can even make the case for Seattle -3.5. I mean, good luck if you take them -3.5. I don't really know what the case would be. So, like, even I can make a case for the Lions over the Vikings, but I mean, it's hard to make those cases for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, it is. It's a strange week, and it's a week where, like, some teams are out of it, some teams are licking their wounds, some teams are hot, and they're two of the hot teams are playing each other. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting week. We just got to keep our clip, Geoff. 3-2, 4-1. That'd be great.
What we're gonna do, buddy.
The next game is what an interesting game this Florida matchup is. Jags at Bucks. The Bucks, man, they're a fun team. I feel like we debated putting them in our, like, to make the playoffs thing, and I don't think we ever did. But they've been a fun team to watch this year. They're 2.5-point favorites against a banged up Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
I don't know, man.
I have no read here.
I have no read either because what if Baker Mayfield just kind of has a bad game, like a Baker Mayfield game after having the best game of his career? That, it's just like I don't know what they are. Plus, and we've been off Jacksonville for a while now. You just can't wager on Jacksonville. Like, two teams you don't know what you're getting week to week. So I just would say no. Just no. I'm not going to do it. We have other games we like, other games that we can highlight. I would not make a play in this game either direction.
Lawrence still dealing with the protocol. Doug Peterson today said he practiced today. He said it's better than a coin flip, is what ESPN summarized his take as. So I don't know. Don't love the odds. If Trevor Lawrence plays, I will bet this line moves down quite a bit. I feel like this is a Trevor Lawrence is compromised line.
Yeah.
But yeah, not enough info, I think, for us here. Even if we did have all the info, I'm not sure what we'd do. Okay. Great game. Second best game of the week. The Cowboys and the Dolphins, two teams that can't beat a team over 500. It sounds like you like Dallas. Right now, the Dolphins are laying a point or 1.5 in Miami.
So here's my reason for this one, Matt. You mentioned it. One team, one of these two teams has won a single game against a team over 500. That was the Cowboys over the Eagles. Otherwise, these teams have not beat anyone over 500, and they've had those issues. So there's a couple ways you lose in the National Football League, right? You lose a game because the team is better than you. We saw that Rams and Saints last night, right? Rams are just better than the Saints. They lost. It sucks, but you live with that, right? You fly home from Los Angeles. If you're a Saints player, you're like, they just got us. They're better than us. There's other ways you lose, but the second way is you get physically dominated at the line of scrimmage, which is what happened with the Cowboys and the Bills. The Bills physically dominated the Cowboys. And when you're a good football team, and Dallas is good, they're not great, they're good. The next week, you come out with a fury and a passion and a fire, and you come and just try to kick the crap out of your opponent, right? So it always happens in the National Football League, especially with good teams. And so that's why I lean Dallas in this game, because Miami has shown an inability against those type of teams to win those games, right? Tyreek Hill, questionable, probably plays, I believe, as we're recording this on Friday. The concern with the Cowboys, Matt, is that their left tackle might be out and their right guard might be out. Their two best offensive linemen. And so if that's the case, I think we're saying no, I'm not going to wager on this, but I like Dallas plus the 1.5 here. I think they just physically bounce back in this game.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that I don't really know what to say here. I mean, everyone agrees with you. The public is on Miami slightly. It's about half and half, but 86% of the money is on Dallas. A couple of things had me interested in Miami. The first is that, like, first of all, like, oddly, the AFC has dominated the NFC this year, which who knows why that is, but it's just been like a trend that's worth kind of taking into account. Dallas, their road splits versus Miami's home splits are dramatic. Dallas is way better at home as a favorite. They're way worse on the road as dogs. Miami's great at home, great as like these small favorites. It's a tricky matchup. I think a lot of it depends on health. You mentioned some offensive line injuries. Like, we're not sure what Miami is right now. We're not sure what Dallas is right now. I feel like this game, for some reason, I just feel like Miami is the tougher team to figure out defensively. Like, for Dallas, like, I just don't know if Dallas is going to be able to just contain all these different threats. Miami also just like they just haven't had like a tough game that they've had to deal with in a while. Their last 3 were Jets, Titans, Commanders. Like, it does feel like they could open their bag up here a little, where Dallas has just got their ass kicked last week and played a really tough game the week before, physically at least. So I don't know. I think I'm not really convinced on Dallas. If you love them, I would take them.
No, I don't love them because I
don't really have a feel.
I like other games, I think. So it's a maybe for me.
Okay. Interesting that we're not really sure there, but neither is Vegas. That's pretty much a pick. Let's see. The next game is Cardinals Bears. A game of two teams that don't matter but are fun to watch. Bears are laying 4 points here.
Why?
I did not consider this game until right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why are the Bears laying 4 points, Matt, to anybody? That's my argument.
I'm not sure.
That's my argument. Like, I like Arizona +4 here. Why
Me too.
What have the Bears done to signal that they should be a 4-point favorite over anybody?
Huh. Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, the Cardinals are very good. I get it. But the Bears they beat the Lions. That was a good win, but that was a Jared Goff, just sinks outside game. They beat the Vikings 12-10. Guess what? That would cover. We get a cover in this game if they won 12-10. In that game, if you recall, the Vikings had a bazillion turnovers because they're a turnover machine this season. Justin Fields, good plays, bad plays. Kyler Murray is better. He's not, he's returning from his ACL. It's not as good this year as it's been in years past, but he's better in general. So, I don't know. I like Arizona +4 here. I do worry about going outside in the cold for Arizona, notoriously, home dome team. But Arizona +4, man, I'll take it.
I actually really like this one. And one of the trends is Kyler Murray, 19-9-2 against the spread as a road dog. This is the spot where you always want to take him. Small, or it's a road dog. I mean, against a bad team too. The Bears have moments, and then what ends up happening at the end of the game is the exact kind of scenario that Kyler has always been helpful for, which is like these crazy backdoors. They almost got it against San Francisco last week, the Cardinals. So I actually I did not really consider this one, but now that I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, this is the spot to take Kyler. You can fade the Bears laying more than a field goal. I don't think they should be more than a field goal favorites over anyone. If this was the Panthers, would you feel great about the Bears laying 4? No. So yeah, give me the Cardinals. I think that's a nice play.
Like I said, that's why I like them like over Dallas. Like the Dallas one I liked, but I don't love it. I think they win that game, but liking a wager like Dallas doesn't mean that you're going to wager on it. You know what I mean? Like there's other factors
Yeah.
involved here. I think Arizona +4 here is a good bet to make.
Yeah, and also like we're going to have an opinion on these good games, whether we're putting them in the contest or not is a separate issue. All right, next up, not a good game. The Patriots are in Denver. Snow was predicted the last time I heard anything about this game. Broncos are laying 7. You can't possibly take a side in this, right?
No. There's nothing. Let's just not waste our listeners' time.
Bailey Zappi in the snow on the road getting a touchdown? No chance. Christmas Day, Monday morning here, Pacific time. Your Kansas City Chiefs are 10-point favorites against the Raiders. I know that we are not going to take the Raiders, but we are sure as hell not taking the Chiefs.
No. I mean, like this game is going to be 27, 13, 27, 17, like 30, 20. It's going to be just like a ho-hum win. They're going to win the game, and we'll just be like, oh, the Chiefs won again. They won the division. This will be the 8th straight year, whatever it is. Yes, this is just a nothing for me.
It's really nice that the Chiefs get like a 3-month bye before the playoffs. Like it's they needed some more good luck in Kansas City. They lose to Philly, they lose to the Packers, they lose to the Bills. Their other quarterbacks they drew: Aiden McConnell, Mac Jones, Aiden O'Connell again, Jake Browning, and Easton Stick. Man, tough one for Kansas City. Let's hope something breaks their way one day. All right, moving on to Giants Eagles. Good Lord. Eagles laying 13 to 13 and a half. Nope. We can't, right? Nope. We can't do it. We can't take a totally... Actually, I don't think the Giants are eliminated yet. I think they are technically alive. But technically alive is not a great way to describe anything.
The Tommy Cutlets thing is over, which we thought it would be over. We said last week we bet on them, but it was more of a fate of the Saints, right? A Derek Carr fate is a favorite. And the Giants were just atrocious. I mean, like, they're just, come on. Tommy Cutlets, Philly has not played great. Don't get me wrong. It's a big number, but I mean, I'm not betting on Tommy Cutlets on the road here.
Yeah, this feels like it could be the Philly get right game too.
Yes, absolutely.
The play, if you're in your picks pool, is just to grab the points, divisional, or two teams that know each other well, just take the points. But not for me on this show, at least. All right, game of the week, game of the year, probably. Baltimore going to San Francisco. San Francisco is laying up to 6 now. I'm curious where you are here.
Well, we're not wagering on this game, first of all. Or are we? I don't know. I don't think we are. The Niners sort of feel like a freight train right now, Matt. And I don't know if the Ravens have enough to stop the train. The Ravens, to me, a lot of times it's sort of still Lamar try to save us mode on offense, right? And I don't think that is good enough to beat the 49ers in this game. If Baltimore's defense doesn't win first down and you get the Niners in second and third and short, man, Brock Purdy's going to tear them to shreds. And Brock Purdy's been playing great, by the way. So, I mean, it's nothing, he'll play great even on third down too. But I don't, this is the dead zone. 5.5 is the Vegas dead zone. But the Niners win this game by touchdown would not surprise me at all.
I agree. However, Baltimore is my side here. And I'm looking something up to tag this on, but I might ask Nick to do it. So basically a couple of things here. Lamar is a dog, first of all.
Right.
He's 11-2 against the spread as an underdog. He's 31-35 as a favorite. Harbaugh, second best coach in the last 20 years as a dog, only behind Mike Tomlin. Ravens 19-5 as a dog since 2018. Like, those are all kind of the same stat. This is the second biggest disadvantage, or this is the second biggest dog of Lamar Jackson's career. Wow. He was a 6.5-point dog at Kansas City. and a 4.5-point dog at Kansas City. He lost those games by 3 and 5, so he didn't cover the Chiefs one, although he might have if he got that number. The thing with Baltimore is not that they can't keep up. I think it's they start so hot that then they end up giving games away. But another thing that's sort of been kind of interesting about Baltimore is they've always had success going against NFC teams. Like Lamar, I can't find his record in front of me. But Lamar against teams in the NFC, the teams that don't see him that often, he's different. Like he's not Kyler Murray. He's got a different skill set that no one else in the league really has. And the San Francisco defense, like, gets a lot of credit. But even last week, they played the Cardinals. They were up. Let's see. They were up the whole game, right? They ended up winning by 16, but they were up like 35 to 16 at the end of the third quarter. Their defense couldn't get off the field. Arizona averaged 6 yards per play, 230 rushing yards. They were on the San Francisco defense was on the field for 72 plays. Like they were outgained by the Cardinals in a game that they won by 16. So their defense, I think they've gotten some injuries up front that I think have really impacted their running game defensively. And I think Baltimore, I think the Keaton Mitchell thing is actually bigger than people realize. Like I think that he was like becoming a really big part of that offense. But I just feel like Baltimore like is not. I don't think they're going to get blown out. They don't. It doesn't happen. It's never happened, and I don't think in Lamar's entire career. So I would say that just getting the 6, it's a nice number. I think it's going to be close. I think Baltimore is a pretty fine side to be on here. You're not saying that they're going to win and become the best team in the NFL by default, but I think that they show up for this, and I like their coaching staff. And by the last thing, sorry, in the past, this is the spot where you'd want to fade Kyle Shanahan. Now that Brock Purdy's been there, they've kind of turned this around. But going into last year, this is where we would always fade Kyle Shanahan as like a 3-point or more home favorite. They never are good in that spot. They're always good as dogs. They're always good as like short favorites. But laying 5.5, 6 points to maybe the best team in the league feels like a spot where you can get some value back on Baltimore, who I don't think has the respect that San Francisco does.
Okay, so here's the question. To my
19-1 against the NFC, Lamar.
We have Pittsburgh, the Chargers, the Titans, the Vikings, the Cardinals. It's 5 we both like. So are we throwing one out for Baltimore or for Dallas? Both teams that we both individually like. I would say we're not, right?
I don't know. Thanks to Nick, he found this 19-1 Lamar against the NFC. How crazy is that? It's like he's just different. Like I feel like if they ever make the Super Bowl, they're just a smarter play. The Tennessee one is tough, but it's probably it's the right side. Can you read them again? We have Tennessee plus 3.5.
We have Pittsburgh plus 3. Yep. Chargers plus 12.5. Tennessee plus 3.5. Yep. Minnesota plus 3. Arizona plus 4.
The Chargers one is so ugly. And then Baltimore plus 6.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm on the Miami side if that one's...
That's fine. We can throw out Dallas.
Here's another option. So the way to play this from a betting angle is... So the MVP race right now looks like Purdy's going to win it. If Baltimore wins this game or loses heroically, Lamar's the new favorite, right? Like it's not going to be Hill, it's not going to be Dak, it's not going to be Mahomes. If the Ravens win this game or come close, it's Lamar. He becomes the right. Who are his receivers again? Like who are his running backs? Right, they lost J.K. Dobbins, they lost Mark Andrews. So I think the play here, if you don't want to do Baltimore, I think we burn our at least 50 of our last 100 on Lamar to win MVP. The current odds,
love it.
Nick said, are plus 450. So I kind of feel like that could be the way we play this. But I don't know. I don't need to take Easton Stick or the Titans, but I feel like I'm more in on this than you are.
I love it because this is the way to play this game. if you think Baltimore's going to win. Don't take them on the money line. Don't take the points. You take Lamar Jackson MVP because if he wins this game, to your point, the odds are going to flip. So the value we get on a Lamar Jackson wager now is, in my opinion, worth it because even if, to your point, they play a close game too, the odds are going to tighten up. Now, they get blown out, we're out. And we also would be out on Baltimore plus 5.5 anyways, right? If they get blown out. So
Yep.
I think that's the way you play this. So put $50 on that. We'll say $50 for something else. We're doing okay in these. The Tyreek Hill injury kind of got us because that offensive player of the year plus 2,000 would have been big for us. That would have been big, but we're not gonna get that this year, unfortunately.
It would have. Yeah, I mean Tyreek. That's another reason. Like Tyreek is not done yet. There could be a really big game this week. Nick mentions Josh Allen and McCaffrey 12-1. I don't think McCaffrey wins it no matter what. The fact that Purdy's had this much of the narrative, and Josh Allen is. I think Nick has a Buffalo future that is worth giving him some credit for. But I don't think Josh Allen can overcome the turnover thing and the just shaky start to the season. They're still not a playoff team technically. So
no, they're the
I just think that it's one of these two guys, and whoever wins this game, that's who it's going to be.
Okay, so Pittsburgh plus 3, Chargers plus 12.5, Tennessee plus 3.5, Minnesota plus 3, Arizona plus 4. Those are our 5.
Do we want to take out the Chargers for Baltimore? I mean, that is fucking brutal. I mean, or Tennessee, like they're both dead teams.
I mean, the Chargers won. Jeez.
And we can get 6 for Baltimore, by the way.
Okay.
But look.
Okay. Well, look.
If you're not with me on Baltimore, you tell me. Honestly, I can't tell. I think Baltimore's a good side. I do.
Okay. So which are the ones you would rather take out, Tennessee or Easton Stick? I'd rather take out Easton Stick, right?
I don't even know who Tennessee's playing. They're playing. It's just Vrabel as a 3.5 point home. They're playing Seattle off that huge win. Is Geno playing?
50-50.
Let's see what the latest is for Geno. Full participant in practice today, Geno. So, I mean, I would be fine taking out Easton Stick. I could see Buffalo just pasting the Chargers, but
okay,
it's ugly.
So, all right, so
Easton Stick could suck.
Pittsburgh plus 3, Tennessee plus 3.5, Minnesota plus 3, Arizona plus 4, Baltimore plus 6. Those are our 5.
Sounds good to me. You?
Mason Rudolph, Ryan Tannehill, Nick Mullins, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. We went from good to bad there. Bad to good there. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with Vaulted, and we'll talk a little bit more about Matt's fatherhood so far. I need an update. I haven't heard a couple weeks from Matt about update. We'll do that in just a second, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're back. We're going to go over the Vaulted picks. Remember, guys, go to the Vaulted app. That's VLTD. Find my pool. That's Geoff with a G, Geoff. Enter the pool. Free to enter. Cash prizes. We have 20 questions. You agree or disagree with them. You set a value to each one, 1 to 10. Just always do 10. It's much better that way. And the winner of this, whoever finishes higher than me as well, it's entering the big game pool. We're giving out $5,000 for the day of the big game, the last game of the NFL season. All right, Matt, let's go over some of these that we like here. Here's one. Bryce Young will have more total touchdowns than Jordan Love. Disagree. Like, come on. Just any Bryce Young number, you just disregard and you wager against.
I think that's a good piece of business, Geoff. A very good piece of business. I will say Bryce Young's looked a little better last week. Tough game-winning drive in the rain. I was really happy for him. Granted, it was the ugliest game I've ever watched, but it was nice to see him have that moment.
Jahmyr Gibbs will have more rushing yards than David Montgomery in that game. Probably,
Yeah, this is
probably
Lions
yes.
Vikings. There's
Probably yes, right?
a lot of props in this game, and I think the way that there's a Sam Laporta over touchdowns, or there's Justin Jefferson's receiving yards, there's Gibbs, there's Amon Ra. I think Minnesota. I don't think that the Justin Jefferson return has been talked about enough, and that's another reason why I think we like Minnesota. I think whether or not he goes for over 97.5, like the Lions defense stinks. And like TJ Hawkinson now is the third option behind
Yeah.
uh, Addison, who's been amazing, 2 touchdowns last week. And they seem to have found a running back too. So I think I would probably go over for Justin Jefferson's yards.
Yes.
And then I think Gibbs makes sense too, because like you said, Gibbs over Montgomery, because they're going to be in passing downs a lot, I think, with this and like the blitz stuff. They're just going to dump it off. So I think Gibbs will just have a good week and he'll be really involved.
Yeah. Going down here, another fun one. DK Metcalf will have more yards than DeAndre Hopkins. We have the Titans in this game, but I feel like the answer is yes, right? Like Hopkins, it's so hit or miss. But if Tannehill's back, does that mean that Hopkins has a bigger game?
Yeah. People like Tannehill and Hopkins, like they're playing for something. Like now that we've picked them, like they're playing to stay in the league. So I have a feeling that Hopkins will show up. Metcalf's just been hot lately. So that's a tough one.
Yes.
I don't know what to say there.
Another one I like too. Justin Fields will have more rushing than Kyler Murray. The answer to me is agree, because Kyler Murray is coming off injury, and Justin Fields has to be part of the game, right? Like that has to be part of what they do to be successful. So I would say I agree with that one right there.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that too. The next one, or maybe 2 down, is something DJ Moore related. DJ Moore, I want to get the something. Jeff Moore 1,000 yards receiving this year. He's a good thing. Him being been necessarily had it, but I just want to read you something about their receiving stats.
Okay.
I don't believe other members has, I would say, 3 receiving yards this year. Like DJ Moore is the most outsized member of the offense. I like the hit of Bell. 100 yards. Cole Kmet has 571. Mooney has 409. The next one has 1.5. Like that is the strangest statistical set I think I've ever heard in the NFL.
Yeah.
So he's 79.5 is his number on Vaulted. Over, please.
Okay. Last one. Ready? Patriots will score more than 13.5 points against the Broncos. No chance. No chance. Disagree. Strong disagree.
No chance.
All right, Matt. Your son is how old now?
He is 7 weeks, almost 8 weeks. 8 weeks on Monday.
And it's getting better?
Which is crazy. Definitely getting better. Yes, relative still. When you start to say things like he can sleep for 4 hours at a time, you're like, oh, okay, nice. That's an insanely small amount of time to sleep. But yeah, he's doing great. First Christmas. I mean, I'm trying to think of like any big updates. Like mainly like so I went back to work this week and I was in the office a bit, and I felt like when I came home, like Jack was like a little pissed at me because I'd come back and he'd be like, "Where have you been?" He's like, he would sort of like kind of like side eye me. He'd be like, "Do I know you? Like you left the house for 6 hours today, full 6-hour workday at Blue Duck. Not sure where you think you can go during the day. I am your 12-pound boss. You did not clear this exit of the house with me, but
you say a full 6-hour workday. Good for you.
Yeah. That's about twice as much as Hank puts in a day, but
of course
it's not very much. But yeah, no, he's doing great. We've got some family in for the holidays and stuff, and like, you know, the holidays feel a lot different with the baby, right? Like everything feels a little different, but the main bullet point of 2 months in is 4 hours of sleep is way better than 2 hours of sleep. But it is way worse. You look more refreshed.
You look more refreshed. Man. You look like you got some sleep, and you haven't been texting me at all hours of the day either. So I feel like your sleep schedule is.
I've got it down, man. I do my prep for this podcast in my overnight feed. Like I listen to other sports betting podcasts and read stuff at from 3 to 4 in the morning. And then I wake up and I'm like, what was this stat about Jared Goff against the blitz? Like, it's all just garbage while I have a baby and a bottle in my hand.
Is that your feed or Jack's feed?
Porque no los dos. sometimes Jeff, when a baby's screaming at you and there's like a little leftover, kettle corn or something like that, you grab a handful at 4 a.m. and you regret it later.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can relate. But
Oh,
you've got a new addition to your family too.
Yeah.
Some people declare themselves parents in this role, but I'm curious if we have a guest appearance to make here.
He is knocked out right now. He's right behind my chair. He's like dreaming. He's moving and stuff.
Oh, it's amazing.
So the best time of his
Geoff
life.
Got
a puppy, yeah.
Tell us tell us the whole story. Last week you teased the new addition.
Yeah, well, yeah. So he got him on camera a little bit Monday with Gabe, but German Shepherd puppy. He's 9 months old. He's very obedient. Except the one thing so far that we've learned, like when he goes from 0 to 100 pretty fast, like he gets really, really excited to like be a puppy sometimes. And I don't think he was allowed to be much of a puppy at the farm. And he'll just like go and just start being like nuts. And he's a big boy. And so he's just a puppy. Remember, he's still a puppy. He's still adolescent. Like he's going to do doesn't ruin anything. He just gets very, very excited. And he's awesome. The crate training is fine. I mean, he whines and cries, whatever. It's part of life with a dog. But he's been great so far. How about this, though, Matt? We'll end with this. Wife and kids are out of town this weekend. They're in Whistler skiing, so by myself. So I get to make every meal I've ever wanted in my life and watch football all weekend and hang out with the new puppy. I mean, like, just living the dream, buddy. Living the dream.
That sounds unbelievable. It's the kind of thing, if you're listening to this when you're in your early 20s, you're like, why wouldn't you want to go out? Like, why wouldn't you want to go do? It's like, no, this is it. Like, you've got your castle, you've got your steed by your side, you've got your grill, you've got your 2 dishwashers. Like, you're ready to rock.
I am going after this to the pasta store to buy fresh pasta to make a shrimp and kind of like calamari in spicy red sauce dish tonight. So I can't wait to go to the pasta store, get some fresh pasta, and go to the grocery store. I'll take Bubba with me in the car and just make my own quiet house tonight, make my own dinner, I'll probably put some money on the Georgia Tech bowl game tonight. I don't know what direction. Watch a little bowl game. Watch another episode of Reacher, and just by myself. I might get the hot tub going by myself. Just have the best, just a little cigar. I don't know. Who knows? I'm by myself.
Cigar. This is reminding me of Mad Dog Russo's Dream Saturday.
Oh yeah.
He's like, first of all, I'm going to take a run. Then I'm going to have half a gummy. I'm going to walk the dogs, and then I'm going to put 10 grand on Dion. Then I'm gonna have the other half a gummy.
No gummy for me, but yes.
That's your version. It's just a nice seafood pasta and a little
making
hot tub
a gumbo tomorrow. Gumbo tomorrow.
Ooh, gumbo.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend of football. As another buddy of mine says, it's a ball buffet. So we can ball all weekend. Merry Christmas for those who celebrate. I'll be getting my Chinese food on Christmas. I cannot wait. And we'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. We're going Tuesday because Christmas is Monday. So have a great weekend, everyone. Talk to you guys on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.